Let me see.
Uh,
It's recording. Yeah. So shall we start? Okay.
yes.
Oh, wait, sorry. I don't know if you have met us already. I think I have seen you once in one session, but my name is Valentina. I will be introducing myself too, and here with us is Elliot from Córdoba. Today, we were thinking about, providing you information about the important deadlines and also the exams, which are very important. Um, they are a requisite to apply to university. So we wanted to talk about that. So the agenda for today is, as always, the timeline overview. As we said, we'll be talking about the early action, early decision, and regular decisions. These are different times in the year where you will be applying to universities. Also, the pros and cons of applying early, the English exams, the different English exams that are available, the standardized tests, the differences between test optional, test blind. We'll see what that means. These are all like new concepts for many, so don't worry. We'll explain all of them today. And then we'll have a space for questions, but you can always, write down in the chat. So no more talking from me.
Nice. Okay, well, I'm gonna present myself. Yo voy a presentarme en español porque todos están hablando su segundo idioma y yo así que no puedo hablar inglés. Cuando presento la información sí, pero de mí no. Igual soy de Nueva York, pero soy lo más argentino de nuestro equipo. Y bueno, estudié mi primer grado en LSU, en Louisiana, porque tengo familia y recibí el cupo de como in-state tuition. Más barato y viví cerca de mi familia ahí. Bueno, viví por muchos países estudiando muchos idiomas, pero recién completé mi maestría en lingüística en Siena, Italia, donde hice lingüística comparativa entre inglés y italiano. Y bueno, he aprendido 10 idiomas, he vivido como voluntariado o trabajando, estudiando en 10 países. Y bueno, me gusta mucho viajar en moto acá en Argentina, ese es mi Tiger que tengo acá en Córdoba Capital. Me gusta esquiar, hacer cualquier tipo de deporte extremo, eh, jugar deporte y también aprender idiomas. El último idioma que aprendí fue Swahili en Tanzania y Kenia en África y estaba trabajando en buceo, enseñando buceo. Me gusta enseñar en África y bueno, quiero compartir esa pasión que tengo con ustedes y darles la máxima oportunidad y posibilidad de lograr y poder estudiar en los Estados Unidos y conocer el mundo inglés y todo lo que quieren hacer. Así que estoy muy contento de estar con ustedes y de conocer un nuevo grupo de CCC, aún si tenemos unas fachas, unas caras que conozco del año pasado. Y bueno, un gusto.
Thank you, Eli. And I think here, yeah, my introduction. I don't remember. I think I didn't introduce myself last time. So I'll be doing that here. My name is Valentina Pedinari. I work as an Education USA advisor in the city of Rosario in Aricana. It's a binational center. Um, and I am finishing my studies in, well, international relations. I'm writing my capstone project, so very excited about that. I did an exchange experience with the Fulbright Commission. It was called the Friends of Fulbright. Now it doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately, but it was a really good scholarship because we got the opportunity to visit. I mean, we got the opportunity to study in a US university. I went to Indiana, to state of Indiana, and the city was Indianapolis. It was a really, I mean, the university is called IUPUI, which is a really long acronym for saying the Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. It was a great experience. I loved the city. I loved the university itself. It was really wonderful. And I have been working as an Education USA advisor since 2023 now. I realized I made my introduction very boring because I didn't include any hobbies. So for hobbies, I like to paint and I also like reading. So if any of you are interested on any of that, it'll be good I mean, I really like reading essays when you guys, I don't know, do arts or it really connects me with that side of myself. So that is amazing. And now the timeline overview. It's really short what we want to say on this, but on April and May, it's unbelievable how we are already in May, but the ideal, I mean, we would like for you to be practicing for your exams. That's why today we'll be talking about exams, researching universities, working on your extracurricular list, and start thinking what you'll need from your school. We'll have a session later on those documents. So, Eli, do you want to go ahead or again?
Sure. I can cover this if you want to the next few slides, and then I'll hand it over to you. But I don't want to lecture. I want you guys to tell me what you know. So, guys, what are these terms? What is early decision, early action, regular decision? Someone tell me what does one mean? Early decision, who knows?
Um, I think it's a cycle that you apply just to one institution, I think in November. And if you get accepted, you have to attend.
Very good. Santiago, awesome. What about early action? It sounds like early decision, but it's not. What is early action? Who can give me someone else? Great job, Santiago. Who can tell me early action? Marco, you want to talk about early action?
I don't know the difference between early decision and early action.
It's tough. Who can give a good guess?
I think if you're not, if you apply to early action and early decision, the early action is not like forced to be in that university.
Yeah, like
Very
you can
good.
apply to multiple ones. It's not
Yeah.
binding.
Leonardo, Theo, awesome, both of you. Great. So it's early, but it's not a decision. It's just an action. Taking the words. Okay, good. And what about regular decision? Or when do we start regular decision?
December, more or less.
December, January. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So you guys know about this. Let's go to the next slide and we'll give you some information. I don't like talking too much. I like having conversations. Is there another one before? Yeah. Okay, so early decision, Santiago said, is binding. So you need to go to that university. And with early decision, you'll be applying in November. Very good. And they'll let you know very quickly. So usually you'll know a month after, maybe mid-December, end of December. Of course, depends on the university. And you'll have to make a decision then in January, February. So this is a decision. Basically, we'll be talking with each one of you individually as the process goes on, but early decision might be right for some people and not for other people. It's not that it's better or worse objectively. So it depends on your fit into a specific university, your chances of getting into specific universities. So we'll discuss all of this. Everything that we discuss generally, we'll go over personally with you guys at a later time. So early action is early, right? You see between November 1st and the 15th. The university decision might come a little later, so in January instead of December, and you have the option to apply to different universities. So it's less extreme than early decision, but it's early and it will help you hopefully get a decision earlier. And then you can take your time more making your decision. That's important to know with early action. So you're applying to more universities than early decision, more than one, and you'll have more time to make a decision. Then regular decision, as Santiago, you said in December, January, perfect, and sometimes going into look at the pros and cons. So why apply early decision? Who has the idea already to apply early decision? Does someone have their dream school that they're dying to apply early to? Anyone? I
In
know
my
some of
case,
you.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I think I will apply to early decision to Case Western Reserve. Maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Very good. Anyone else want to share a dream school they want to apply early to, or something they've researched and want to share? All right, that's okay. Let's go to the next slide. Well, I'll make you guys talk. Next time I'm gonna call on some of you. I'm not gonna lecture. All right, so pros. So applying early. Why would one apply early? What do you guys think? What are some other ideas or what connects with you that's written on the board? What would be a positive advantage of applying early? Santiago, sure.
I think you could get like more funds, like more scholarships. Also, well, you get the admissions letter before. Yes.
Yeah, you're showing interest to the university, so they may take you more into consideration than the other recipients.
Very good. And especially with early decision, that you're saying, this is my school, I want to be here, and I'm showing this through this binding application, basically. That I want you to accept me and I want to go here. I don't want to apply anywhere else. So depending on your application, chance of getting in applying early decision than regular decision. And a lot of the time, depending on the school, if they accept you for early decision, a lot of the time, or technically all the time, if they accept you and they see your financial profile, whether they're need blind or not, if they're gonna bind you to go to that school, they're supposed to give you everything you need. In reality, they'll give you everything that they can prove that you need. So there might be something left over to pay. Remember that. But they're supposed to give you everything that you've shown you need through the financial application. So very good. So also with early decision, say higher acceptance chances. You're showing interest also with early decision, but even more so with early action. You're showing motivation and that you want to go there, but even more so with early decision. Because with early action, you can apply to multiple schools. And great, with early decision, another reason you've spent a lot of time on your personal statement and your application, you don't want to write any more personal statements. You don't want to fill out more information, more applications. Remember, this will save you the work. If you're able to get in early decision, you get to go to Bariloche, was it the Viaje Fiesta de Egresados, already with the decision getting into a school? Sounds ideal. Okay, what are some cons of applying early? Someone tell me why would it be not ideal for someone to apply early? I told you it depends on the profile. What do you guys think?
For example, you need to like prepare everything faster, and because you will need like the exams in November and not in December. And also, yeah, like you will lose time to do activities or to, I don't know, to change things, maybe if you need.
Absolutely. Sophia, great. So you need to have everything ready. Maybe you want to retake your SAT in November. It's possible. Maybe you want to retake your English exam in November. If you don't have everything ready, maybe if you still want to improve your scores, if you want to improve your grades, maybe your promedio will be higher when you finish your first semester grades. For some of you, maybe your grades are rising. you're improving your SAT. There are many reasons why it will be better to wait and apply regular decision for all your schools. Okay, very good. Anyone else have something to add or something personal about their feelings about applying early or not?
If you don't have like a really favorite university to apply with, no one stands out for you.
Absolutely. Great deal. Yeah. You feel the same about 4 universities. You're still not sure where you want to go. You want to see different financial aid packages, see where you can get in with 10 schools rather than 3 or 4 early action. So it could be better for a lot of you to apply regular decision. It depends on every profile. Very good. All right. We can go on. And if anyone wants to jump in while I'm talking, please jump in and participate. Yes, the application pool, Gio. So the application pool are the people, the students applying. So for example, early decision in November, let's say for Harvard University, there are 100,000 applicants applying early decision. The application pool would be the pool, the group of those 100,000 applications. Then regular decision, there'll be a different group of applicants, of students, let's say 200,000 applying regular decision, that will be a different pool. A pool, think of a pool like group, the group of applications. So there's cycles. There's early decision, there can be early action, and then regular decision. So we say different applicant pools, groups of applications. Does that make sense, Gio? To everyone? Is that clear? Okay. All right. Valen, you want to talk about some English exams?
Sure. So, English exams. Has anyone already taken any exams? If you want to share, or if you have seen these exams. Yeah, Rafa, go ahead.
Just the Cambridge ones first, and I'm preparing for CAE.
Exactly. Many students, reach out to us, telling us that they have taken Cambridge exams, maybe I think it's the first certificate, the CAE, and unfortunately, I mean, it really does depend on the university. Sometimes they do accept the exams, but it's not always the case. Our theory, and this is not official, my personal theory is that these exams are usually like they last longer. I think you have a period of 5 years when this exam would be acceptable for work, other things. So the TOEFL, I think it has 2 years, where it will still be accepted by other institutions. So I think that has to do something with it. We don't really know why they don't accept it, but yeah. Anyone else? Okay. We'll talk. We have already mentioned these exams providers. We wanted to talk specifically about why it's important to start, analyzing which test you would need to take. And unfortunately, for most people, you'll have to take an English exam. There are some exceptions. For example, if you have studied in a bilingual school, or maybe your secondary school was only in English, but most people would have to take some of these exams. So it's important to know which one, it will be best for you. We will share all these slides later, but you have all the different links, and you can, research each tests to see which one, goes best with you. Just so you know, the TOEFL and the IELTS can be both taken in Argentina. There are different places in Argentina where you can take them. And the Duolingo English tests, it's an online test. So you would be, on your own comfort, on the comfort of your home. You have to have a good internet, but it would be in that scenario maybe easier to do. But it really does depend on you. What are you most comfortable with, I think. And a few tips from us would be always, it doesn't matter which one of these exams you take. Here we only have a few providers. Maybe the universities that you want to apply to accept another ones. But it doesn't matter which one you take. If you are here like on Competitive College Club, it's because you have a great level of English. So you understand us, you can express yourself, you can write very well because we have seen your essays and everything. But we still really recommend that you practice the different structures of each test. They are not the same. If you will be taking a TOEFL and then you want to take a Duolingo English test, the activities and the exercises are very different. So we always recommend that you get used to the exam itself. So practice. That will be the main tip. Practice a lot. I know that for TOEFL you have a lot of free practice. Also for Duolingo, even for Duolingo, I cannot really stress this enough. If you like sign up for the Duolingo website, you can practice with all tests, and it's like it doesn't take too much time. And so practice. If you need any information about, you will have the links, but if you need anything else from us, you can always reach out. And also, before you take any of these exams, please check that the universities accept that exam. So ideally, if you are going to take the exam, you would have a university list ready, because there you will see which universities would accept the exam that you want to take. But those are a few tips. Always taking into consideration that there are different costs for each exam. The TOEFL has a different price than the IELTS, and so does the Duolingo. So that is also a thing to take into consideration. But all of this to say, please think about taking them soon, relatively, as early as you can if you are applying this year. Because if you already, have those exams taken, you have those scores, you can focus on another, on different parts of the application process, like the extracurricular activities, the essays, and you'll have more time to focus on all of that. And now, onto the standardized test, if I can skip here. We have two different providers in Argentina. The SAT, which is the most, knowledgeable. Most people take the SAT, but there is also another test, which is the ACT. The difference, there are two main differences. The SAT, you can take it I think you have like 3 or 4 places in Argentina where you can take it. So I think you have many more opportunities to take the SAT. And also another difference is that the SAT and the ACT have different topics. So the SAT would be only for reading. It has a part where you will do exercises with reading comprehension and then math. And the SAT also adds a science part. And not many people want to do the science section. So for those people, maybe the SAT is a better choice. It's all about, strategizing and, really understanding what would make sense with your profile. Here we share a few dates, just so you know. We strongly recommend that you take the SAT or ACT if you're thinking about it in June, July, August and September, because if you're applying for early decision, early action, you want to be, comfortable. You want to know all your scores already. You want to have time to know if you have to retake the exam. So, as soon as possible if you're applying this year. But here you can see that you have a lot of different dates for you to retake the exam if you need. And also, you have to take into account that results might take to 10 to 15 days to be released on the SAT platform. So, for example, if you're applying early, you would not be able to retake the SAT on November, because even if you have your deadline on November 15 for early action or early decision, you would not be able to have those scores on time. So always think about that before you choose, the dates, the exams. But yes. And here is an interesting thing, because we mentioned a few concepts: test optional, test blind. What does that mean? Because it sounds very, I don't know, very difficult, and it's not. Many universities after COVID started having a more test optional policy. What does that mean? That basically means that you can decide whether you want to submit your scores or not. Not all universities are test optional. Many really encourage you to upload your scores. We have been seeing this lately, these last few years, that many universities have gone back to asking for the SAT. So if you want to get a good scholarship, if you want to get a good merit-based scholarship, it would be a great idea to try to take any of these exams so that you can make your profile stronger for the university. That being said, there are some times where universities have a test blind policy, and even if you take the exam, the SAT or ACT, they will not even consider. It doesn't matter whether you got a great score or you got a bad score, they won't consider that. And there are some test flexible universities, which is what we have been discussing. Some universities do require tests. Maybe it's the SAT, maybe it's the ACT, but you can choose which one you submit. For example, maybe you have taken both exams and you have a better grade on the SAT, then you can choose to submit only that one. That is all, strategy and knowing what is best for your profile. You can always ask all of this on office hours. Here we have a slide on office hours, because maybe all of this sounds like really difficult for you to make a decision. It may sound difficult, so you can always reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you on your special case, because not all of us have the same needs, and we're all different. And I don't know if Eli, if you want to add something on exams.
Yeah, that it's good to meet personally with us to go over and kind of do your research, then talk about which exams are right for you and why and what dates to make sure you'll have a chance maybe to improve. I always like to give students a chance to take the SAT, to take an English test, and for sure have time to retake it, because often that can only help you. So it depends. And every one of you, remember, every profile is different, so everything should be personalized.
Yeah, exactly. And now we have some in-person events that we wanted to remind you of. Unfortunately, these are all in Buenos Aires. We're so sorry. We always want to have more, around the country, but for now, The next two ones are in Buenos Aires. So on May 14th at 6:30 p.m. Remember, if you have already, signed up for this event, there are different universities which will be visiting us: Vanderbilt, the University of Chicago, and Georgetown University. If you have already, searched for universities, you'll see that these universities are really like competitive. So if you are in Buenos Aires, you want to know more about different options, it's a good idea to attend this session. And then we also have another session at the end of the month on May 28th at 5 p.m. Sorry, I cannot see my. I have to go to the eye doctor again soon. But basically, this will be another in-person session, and this time the George Washington University will be visiting us, not Georgetown, the George Washington University, which is another university. And I think I went online last year to this session. It's really interesting and it's really fun because you will be analyzing different cases. I mean, there are obviously examples. They're not real examples, but it's really fun to see what the admissions officers want in students that they admit. So it'll be really interesting to see all these case studies. So if you can join, it'll be a good idea. Now, on to the end of our session. If you haven't already joined the WhatsApp group, remember this is only for competitive college club members. We are not in there, so it's only you. Remember always, well, we already gave you the guidelines, but it is a very good idea to participate because we know that usually you get in touch with one another, you start talking about which exams you're going to take, and it's really good to build that community with everyone. So if you haven't, please join. And do you have any questions for us? Yes, Sophie, go ahead.
I saw that recently you can like take exams virtually, like SAT or SAT. And I wanted to ask that if like both have the same validity as the paper version.
I don't know about you, Elliot, but I haven't heard about the SAT online. How you?
For
Yes,
me,
because I'm from Salta and it's very difficult like to travel to take exams, for example, TOEFL or SAT. So I started researching and I found that both can like be given virtually. So I would like to ask like if they have the same validity because maybe I took, I don't know, SAT virtually, but it doesn't like have the same validity as the paper one, and I can't present it to university.
so the SAT, remember, every exam is different. The SAT is digital, but you can't take it at home. You must take it at a test center. As far as I know, this may change for this year as of now. The conditions are the same as last year. The test centers in Argentina are in Buenos Aires, in Córdoba Capital. You must take it, remember, it's digital, it's not paper, but you must take it at the lab, at the test center. So here at San Patricio in Córdoba, and I'm not sure the location or if there's more than one in Buenos Aires. But this is, if there's any other kind of at-home SAT for me at the moment, it's not valid. Don't pay for it. We will help you schedule and organize your SAT either in Buenos Aires or here in Córdoba. And the TOEFL in Duolingo, you can take it home. TOEFL has made a change. So that's been a change 2026. The TOEFL exam you can take at home on your laptop. You have to make sure that you have a high functioning laptop, good internet, you comply with the rules of the camera, the laptop camera, and at least with Duolingo, you have to use your cell phone camera as well. But those are options. IELTS, you still need to take it at a test center. We have here in Córdoba Capital, in Buenos Aires. Are there more locations for the IELTS, Valen?
I think, yeah, for the IELTS, I think you can take it in Rosario too. I don't know
Great.
if there are another centers here.
Sophia, does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, Sol, do you have a question?
Yes, I'm an IB student, and I was wondering if I could submit my IB scores instead of sitting for the SAT.
Usually, it can be possible. You have to double check with the university, but it's usually always, when you like enter the website of the university and you have like, I think it's like this small page that it's called application requirements or it's usually about the application itself and you have all of the requirements. Usually there you have, this like test policy section, and in that section you usually can see if they accept the IB score, to not have to take the SAT. And I think the same would go for English tests.
Great, thank you.
You're
And then
welcome.
Rosario had a question but didn't know how to raise the hand. Rosario, do you want to ask something?
Yes, about the test optional, I don't really understand what that is and what's the difference between the optional and the blind test. Is this some kind of SAT? I don't really get it.
Yeah, sorry. This test policy, all of this is about the SAT and ACT. Because you always have to present some kind of English test, whether that is, with an English test itself, or maybe you have the certification with, the exceptions that we talked about. But for the SAT and ACT, basically universities say, okay, for test optional, you can submit your scores. We will, take a look at them. It's up to you, basically, with test optional. Test blind would be when they don't even check your score. If you have sent it, they don't care because
Okay.
it's part of their policy. And some universities, have like a mandatory policy, and you have to send you would have to take an exam mandatory.
Okay, thank you.
Basically, Rosario, what we want to do is give you guys the time to be able to prepare for the SAT, take it seriously, and usually most of your universities will not be test blind. So we want that to be an advantage, right? Every part of your essay every part of your postulación, your application should be an advantage. So we want to help you with everything. So the SAT, I would say plan on prepping for it, studying for it, and doing a great job on it. And that will be just like every part of your application is an important part. The SAT is also important. So I would say for most of you, it will be a good idea to take it, but we'll, of course, look at every case individually. Santiago?
Yes, about the question I asked in the chat, if applying through early decision, it doesn't mean that you have more chances than in regular, or yes, like if the acceptance rate is higher, but because most of the students who apply through that cycle accepted, I don't know, like if it's worth it or not, or how it
No,
works.
I like your mind is already moving with like mathematically. I like it. So let's think, forget human advising. Let's think about math. If they accept 80% of early decision applicants and let's say they accept 50% of regular decision applicants, unless your profile, your application is going to improve from November to January, and you want to go to that school, you have a better chance of getting into the school applying early. That's not my advice, it's just mathematics, right? So if my application is going to improve, if my SAT can improve, my English can improve, my essay can improve, my grades that I'll submit for my final semester in my high school will improve my application, then I might have a better chance of regular decision. But if you already know you want to go to that school, everything's ready, nothing is going to improve dramatically, apply early. Right? The percentage is
Okay.
higher.
Thank you so much. And another question, do we have to submit all the transcripts from high school or just like from like fourth, fifth grade, or how is it?
Sorry, I'm muted. But I was saying you would have to submit every year of high school. That is what we recommend. We know that in the US you only have 4 years of high school, and many students here, decide to only upload the last 4 years. We do not recommend that at all, because we will have a session on the documents that, the school will provide you. There is one document specifically which is called the school profile, and in the school profile you will basically explain the entire, how long you study in high school, and it wouldn't make sense if you only, submit the last 4 years and then you have like 5 years of high school, let's say, as an example.
And if we apply through regular decision, do we have to include also the grades from the last year, like sexto año, or just from like the mid-year?
If you have them already, I would say yes. Maybe it really does depend when you get them, because basically you would have to go and translate them, and you would have to have enough time to do all of that. You can always do, get all the transcript, as many as you can. Ideally you would only get one. You would get like a partial transcript, analítico parcial in Argentina.
Yes.
It's not the analítico final because you don't have it, but you can do analítico parcial and then translate that. And then you have the option to add, the mid-year report if you have, anything else that you want to add.
Basically, you submit, Santiago, you submit what you have. So in December, if you have your grades up to a certain point, you submit all of that. But it depends on your school, the high schools here. But after, when you get in, you'll send the rest of your grades. You always have to send everything at the end,
Thank you.
like Valentina said. Then we had a question, Gio, could you think of any university that is test blind? I've never heard of it before. Julia, do you go by Julia, Julia, Juliana, Juliana? And then there's
No,
the
it's Julia, but Julia, it's okay. It's just not Juliana, not Julieta.
Okay, Julia. The names with the Julia, then also the GIU, which is Italiano. It would be like
Yeah.
Giulia or Juliana in Italiano, but then I don't know how to pronounce it here in Argentina. Great. Julia. Wonderful. UC Berkeley, 100%. Great that you know that. The UC Geo, the basic answer, you have to look for 2026. They can always change their policies. For me, the UC system in the California schools, California is interesting, to put a neutral adjective to it. It's an interesting place. They have their own rules, their own way of doing things. So many California schools are test blind. But again, you have to confirm at the moment that you're applying, because they can change. In August, they can change and be test optional or require. But for now, the California schools, I would say generally. If I take another one, Sophia, if I take the ACT exam, I need to take the optional writing part. The university, Sophia, will tell you. So for example, I apply to Harvard. They say we accept SAT and ACT. They should include, we require the writing, or we don't require the writing, or we only require the writing in these cases. They are free to set their own rules. So you have to check on every university. Do you know specific cases, Valen, of involving the ACT writing section?
I've never heard of them asking the optional writing part. No.
Okay, any other questions?
Sorry, I don't know how to raise my hands. So
Yeah, please.
yeah, I'm not sure because while talking about early decision, for example, it was mentioned something regarding financial aid. Maybe if you could talk to me a little bit about that, because as we know in Argentina, it's an interesting topic. And also, I play sports. I don't know if you know or if you're related with this, but how is this connected to these kind of helps, like financial help?
Great. Can I start with this, Valen, and then you add anything you want? Julia, so we're talking about early decision scholarships. So first, sports scholarships are usually separate from academic scholarships, and we can combine them to form a total financial aid package. For example, if I play soccer, I will want to be talking to coaches and be in touch with universities, the sports departments, and the soccer teams in sending my videos and sending my resume and all my information about athletics to the soccer coach already in fourth year, fifth year, or penúltimo año de secundaria. So I'm already in touch with these coaches, and I figure out through the sports department how can I receive financial aid for athletics. Then that usually is decided before early decision. So the sports is a part and usually before. But again, depends because you have NCAA, which might have great opportunities. I would say especially for women, for girls, because they divide it by sex, scholarships and teams. So for example, if this is a great point, at a webinar we were a part of, that American football teams often have more than 100 players, and the scholarship players, they receive full scholarships usually, and they're all male. So that would mean that they need certain scholarships available for females and fewer for males at that school in sports. So as a female athlete, with NCAA Division One, for example, if you're in that bracket, to apply early and your chance of getting a scholarship, maybe a full scholarship, exists. Or if not, a partial scholarship, also in Division Two and in other divisions, other sports associations which exist. They have partial scholarships and full scholarships. So this is apart from the financial aid package that I'm requesting with early decision, which will be academic and based on need. However, with that being said, if a university accepts you, early decision, this is a binding acceptance, meaning that you are bound to accept and go to the school. They should, in theory, give you the financial aid that you need. Not necessarily that you requested, but that they determine that you need in order to go to that school. So remember, it's not the same that you request, it might be less. But they should give you enough to go to that school, and we, of course, will help you with that and to find solutions. But sports scholarships usually are separate. Is that clear, Julia?
Yes, yes, I knew that they were separate. However, what happens to me is that I'm in last year of secondary school and I still like trying to understand the process. So maybe like I'm not trying to fall behind with it. So I wanted to know if it had something to do with the timelines. But thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Where are you, Julia? You're in the north, if I remember.
I'm in Junín in Buenos Aires.
You're in Buenos Aires.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so meet with one of us, talk with any of the advisors, I would say ASAP personally, and discuss your personal situation and see how you can get ahead on that. That would be my advice.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if there's some of you that are like specifically sorry into that topic, maybe sports or something like that. Because we had a talk with a girl who attended and they talked about it, but they didn't mention, for example, how to fill your profile. They like promoted the university and the system of the university, however, not how to, yeah, what apply or sell yourself to the coaches.
I can meet with you. I'm learning more about sports scholarships, but having been in a university with sports and I understand the laws in the US and how that works to a certain extent, but I can easily research with you and get more information. If you want to contact me about that, I'm happy to talk to you personally about your situation and what we can do.
Okay, thank you.
Juana, go ahead.
Hi, my question is if I apply through early decision and I don't get accepted, am I still able to apply through regular decision?
Yes, you would be able, and it's what most students do if they apply early decision and they don't get they don't get admitted. Something to note, and this is not answering your question, but I just wanted to add this. Early decision is binding, but if they do not give you the amount of money that you need, you can always talk with the school. And if they don't, if you cannot negotiate with the school, it would not be binding. You always have to talk with the university. But basically, if it's like a financial constraint and you cannot go, even like you would have to talk with the university.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So for early decision, it's complicated because there's also early decision 1, early decision 2. If your school defers you, that's a lot of the time what happens. So I apply early decision to Harvard, for example. I'm deferred. It means they don't accept my early decision application and I can apply to other schools, but I'm deferred to regular decision and I need to follow their instructions on what to do next. If I'm rejected, full out rejected, they say your application is rejected for Harvard University, I cannot apply regular decision to that university. Remember, the early decision answer, the decision that the university makes, they will give you the information. But usually for me, the words are deferred, which means I can still apply to that university, or rejected. I need to apply to different schools, and I might have time for early action or early decision 2 at different schools. Because remember, the early decision 1, you get your decision, you get your answer very quickly.
Sorry, deferred is like waitlisted.
Yes, I would say similar.
And
Again, it depends on the specific wording of the decision from the university. Maybe they say you're waitlisted and you'll be considered automatically for regular decision, for regular decision, or they'll say you've been deferred, and it could mean something very similar, but it depends on the specific language from the school.
and like, can you update your profile or you just have to wait like for a later decision?
It's a good question. For me, it depends on the school. Valentina can add something. For me, it depends on the school. If you're waitlisted, for me, or even deferred, it means that they have your application and they're going to consider you for a regular decision. And then it's a good idea to send a letter of continued interest and to send materials to the school as they come in. In your letter of continued interest, you can mention achievements, awards, and activities you've started or continued. You should send them your final grades when they come in, send them updated test scores. That is usually how it's done. Again, depends on the specific university and the wording of their decision. Does that make sense?
I think I saw another hand raised, but I don't remember who it was. And now I cannot see it anymore.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I wasn't able to completely grasp the difference between taking the ACT and the SAT. I heard you said that the SAT had science, which I guess depending on your major would be like better if you took that one. But still, could you like elaborate a little bit more?
Yes,
Thank
that
you.
would be the ACT. The ACT has a
Oh,
science part. I would say the main difference would be that, and also in what centers you can take it, because it has less centers in Argentina, the IPT. That would be, I think, the main difference. Also, you can sorry, can you mute yourself for a bit, because I'm hearing like an echo and I cannot concentrate. I can only do one thing at a time. Sorry. But as I was saying, you would have to research a lot on the different tests. I would say like watch YouTube videos. There's a lot of information. Maybe AI here could be a good tool, to help you decide which option is the best. I mean, like what we hear is that students usually take the SAT, but I don't know if that's just a trend or if they don't want to do the science part. I don't know.
Thank you.
And sorry, for the science part, is like any science, like biology, physics, or like all of that, or
I would have to check, but I think it is. Basically, the standardized tests literally test all the knowledge that you would have obtained on the high school years. So it would make sense that they include different like topics on science, like as you said, chemistry, physics. But I would have to double check because I'm not sure. I don't know, Eli, if you know.
Well, I think we can look, if anyone's interested in taking the ACT, I think it's better for personal meetings, research on your own or with us to meet with us and go over specifically. There are specific types of questions. I would say the ACT is faster paced. You have to be quicker in answering questions, and it's with the science section, maybe interpretation of scientific viewpoints, graphs, diagrams, things like that. But we can meet and look at sample tests. I always, when I speak with students, take practice tests. Better than me, I haven't taken the SAT or ACT this last year. Take a practice test, and you'll have a great idea of how much you need to prepare, where you need to prepare. If you take both practice tests, which one you prefer, which one would be better for you. So that's always the best thing to do, but we can always meet individually and go over in detail or even go over some samples together. We had a question in the chat from Gio. Could you please repeat what you said about what you ask for financial aid versus what the university gives you? So the CSS profile, you guys are going to be doing the academic application and also a financial aid application if you are seeking financial aid, which I would say the majority of students do. So you should expect to fill out an application. And again, this will go over with you in the winter when it's more relevant, but you'll need to this winter collect financial documents from your families, from how much money they have invested, how much money is coming in, how much money is being spent, kind of your bookkeeping, financial bookkeeping of your family or of the people who take care of you, who are responsible for you. If you're not 18, if you're 18 and work, that will be relevant as well. Or the money that you're bringing in, of course, is relevant, but financial information. So you may say you submit your financial information, Gio, to the university, and you also say, I am able to pay this amount. But then they may interpret from your financial information and from the official financial profile that you submitted that you could pay more. So they may give you less than you're asking for. Does that make sense? Based on your financial application. And that's relevant also, guys, not just for early decision, but also need blind. If a university is need blind and they accept your application based on your profile, your overall profile, then they have to give you what they think you need. So again, not what you need, but what they think you need.
That is a really good tip. If you want a good like financial aid package, just search in Google like best blind universities for international students. And sorry, I said best blind, need blind. need line for international students, and there are not many universities. I think it's 11, 12, but you'll see a few, and then you can check. Usually they are Ivies, but yeah. I don't know if you guys have any other questions.
Yes,
Okay.
you mentioned about like early decisions. You mentioned that we have to like communicate with the university in the case that we got accepted in early decision, but the financial aid they're giving us is not enough. How is this communications going to work, or how does it get?
Yeah, it's usually by email, and you would reach out explaining that even though they gave you all this amount of money in their first offer, you would need more money, and then you would explain why, because maybe, I don't know, you're taking care of someone in your family. I mean, sometimes circumstances may change, and you might explain that. And it's always a conversation. Maybe the university says, okay, we cannot give you any more money. Let's like see what the options are. And that is basically, but what I wanted to like leave you guys with was that, I mean, don't worry when we say binding. I mean, always keep in mind that it has to be like your dream school, but you can always talk with the university.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm
Guys,
seeing a few. Yeah.
sorry. No,
No,
please.
I was going to say that, I mean, I don't know if you, Eli, but I really have to go to another meeting. So maybe we can keep, answering questions on office hours, or maybe next session.
I wanted to say this has been an awesome CCC meeting. I'm really happy that you guys are asking questions, you're involved, communicating. The next time I'm here, I'm gonna call on the people that aren't speaking, getting involved, especially those who I know have things to say. I want you guys, if you ask questions, if you get involved, it helps you as well. Make sure that you're active in the conversation. It's not required, but if I'm here, I will push you to talk. But I thank all of you, really. It's been a great session. I thank you guys for asking questions, for being into the conversation. And I'm really excited to work with this year's group. I think you guys are awesome, and we're going to do great things together.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Eli, for joining. And we'll see you, I think, next week in person for those who are in Buenos Aires, and soon virtually. I don't know the date yet, but soon we'll write you on your emails. So don't worry. Thank you, guys. See you. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
See you. Have
thank you so
fun.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.